I think sometimes as the singer or as the artist, we think it's all us. So it's like, oh, why isn't this working? It's me. But it isn't always that. Sometimes it might be the lyric, or it might be the arrangement, or it might be. I had an artist who put together on their first tour, a very traditional pop 4 players. And it really wasn't working. Like it wasn't delivering the sound and the vibe that the album had. And that was clear. It was like, yeah, this isn't doing it. It isn't doing it. And
Mm-hmm.
then for their next tour, they changed the configuration. They're like, oh, I
Mm.
need these instruments, and I'm not going to say it, so don't give that person stuff away. But
Right.
I need these instruments and not that one. Take that one away. I want this, and then we'll trigger this stuff on it with stems. And once they dialed that in, it was like, there it is. This is delivering your album now.
Mm.
And that became their setup since, like 15 years later, that's the setup. And it just took a second to figure out what instrumentation, who needs to be on this stage with me to get this album, to get my sound and feel.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't a traditional setup.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. I think that this is life, that life is.
Yeah. I mean, we're all just walking each other home. We're all just trying to figure it out.
Yeah, but I think that it is constantly like reflecting, adjusting, and then taking an action, and then you reflect again. Is this? And the first question to me always is does this thrill me? Does this feel good to me? Does this resonate with me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's the first. If it doesn't, adjust already. Forget the audience. Like you're the first person. You're the first audience member as well as the doer. So
Yeah.
feel yourself first, and then okay, now let me do this publicly. Is it landing? And
Mm.
some artists get in their own way of saying, that's a weird thing to say. It's like blaming them. But some artists don't know if it's going to land or not because they're not playing live yet. They're like, I got to get it to a place before. I'm like, oh no, you need to hear and
Mm-hmm.
receive from the audience to know if it's
Mm-hmm.
landing.
Mm-hmm.
And you might think, oh, I'm not ready. It's not ready. It's not ready. And then you go public and they're like, oh, I got really great reception. People were really moved. And like you thought, oh, I'm not really a qualified songwriter, right? I don't have that degree, so I can't start songwriting yet. Some people feel that way about their voice or about their
Mm-hmm.
song, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And some people put out the first song they ever wrote, and I'm like, please don't do that. It's not ready. Like you need to draft that 10 more times and write 10 more songs, and then we'll get there, But other people wait and wait and wait, and actually you need the feedback to know
Yeah.
where you.
Yeah. Well, and I think that, finding places where you can share the music when it's in its nascent state that's safe. I mean, you don't have to release it to, all the streaming platforms. Try going to an open mic or even better, a song circle. Like, I haven't done one in a while, but that was my process for many years.
Yeah.
I would take songs in progress to a group of songwriters, and we would all listen to each other's songs and give feedback. And, if you heard the same comment from 4 or 5 of the people, it's
There's
something to
truth.
listen to. You don't have to change your song. No one's obligating you. But if you hear that same feedback over and over again, then it's something to look at. It's like, oh, yeah, well, maybe this isn't landing like this. Maybe I should, you know,
Yeah, I
rethink
say the
it.
same. If you hear the same thing from 2 different people and they didn't confer with each other,
Right.
then there's truth. And I think also like sometimes the more resistant you are to that, it's because they're hitting the truth too.
Yeah. Yeah.
It can be uncomfortable.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of uncomfortable, let's talk about that. Have your concerts as communal experiences where people feel permission to be themselves. And thank you for doing that because the more spaces we have like that, the better. Where were moments in your process that felt messy or vulnerable or like maybe you did want to retreat and how did you move through that?
What moments that felt messy, vulnerable, like I want
Mm-hmm.
to retreat? I think, well, when I very first started performing, I really didn't know how to play. I could sing, I could always sing, but my playing was like, it was really rough. And I had to just give myself permission to suck in order to get better at it. Because there's no way to get better at performing without performing. And I would practice and practice and practice and practice and practice. And then I'd get on the gig and I would be so nervous. about my playing, like I would forget what the next chord was, or, just like, so one of the things I did is, this is before I had an iPad. Now I use an iPad. But if I'm working, if I'm performing a song, it's new and I'm not sure I'm going to remember it, I don't let myself go up there without at least something to lean on. I'd rather have that little 3x5 card or iPad or whatever it is and be able to deliver the song
Yeah.
than to, like, deer in the headlights moment, like, oh my God, where does the bridge go? I can always remember the melodies and the lyrics, but like the playing is still
Yeah.
sometimes, I need like a little, that I'm going to the right place. And I know other people who like start as instrumentalists,
Yeah.
like they just have to have their lyric sheet,
Right. Right.
Um,
It's where your
and
strengths are. It's where
yeah,
your strengths are, or where you
exactly.
have more time and experience.
I would say, yeah, the only way to get better at something is to keep doing it and give yourself grace.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that cancer did for me, is the what will people think, all of that stuff. I was just like, I don't care. When I was going through treatment, I bought a drum set. I took drum lessons. I did hip hop dance. I took piano. I don't care if I sound like crap. I just want to learn. And what's great is I never really became a drummer, but I can talk to drummers now because like I know what the different parts of the drum kit are, and like, what just basic stuff that it really, helps me. But I had to look like an idiot and sound like one, for quite a while.
You're a beginner at it, right? I
Yeah.
love it. I
And
love
it's hard, as an adult, especially as an adult, especially if you are, if you've gained a level of mastery
Yeah.
in one area of your life, it can be very daunting to go back and be a beginner at something. But
Yeah.
I'm telling
Really
you,
important
it's
to do it.
so worth it.
Yeah. It's very important to do it. It
Yeah.
actually makes you better at the thing you're excellent at as well.
Yeah.
But I do get it. I think having the, as you said, the grace around, like if you know, oh, I've really excelled at this, I've spent years at this, I can't possibly get this to be as good as that, because the just even the time gap will never be closed, right? So
Mm.
the amount of time and attention I've given this will always be in front of the other. So I'm going to allow myself to not be amazing at this and just learn from it, have fun with it, mess up with it. Which I think can also give you that grace with the thing you're excellent at, because just
Mhm.
because you're excellent at it doesn't mean you're going to be perfect at it either.
Mhm.
You shouldn't
Mhm.
be, and you won't be. That's it. But I also I did that with dance. So I went back to dancing, hadn't danced in a long time, and I'm in a class with I took a master class with Akram Khan, who's my favorite choreographer. He's absolutely incredible, like philosophical, beautiful, beautiful. And I got to take a class with him. And I'm at that point, I think I was in my 40s. I hadn't danced in a lot of years. And I actually think I had a shoulder injury. Yes, I definitely did, because I remember we did a move and I couldn't hold myself up because I had a shoulder injury.
Yeah.
And I was in a class with, 18 to 24-year-old Juilliard dancers who are currently or developing themselves to have a full-time career as a dancer.
Mm.
I didn't care. I mean, I felt like a mess a lot of the time, but I had the best time. And I was like, I don't care. I'm like, I know where I am. I have a shoulder injury. I haven't danced in years. But when he also sat down to talk to everybody about his philosophy, about things that were on the inner working of the artist, I was eye to eye with him.
Mhm.
Right. So it's like, oh yeah, they can't catch up to that because I have thousands of shows under my belt and years of experience. Like I'm here. I am, we say more advanced or more experienced, I would say, at
Mhm.
this part than they are. And that part, they're thriving, they're dancing 8 hours a day, and I'm not right now. So I think that's also important. I catch that sometimes with artists where I had a session with somebody who was in their third session with me. And they're like, yeah, I'm just not getting that yet. I'm just not getting it. I'm like, why are you expecting yourself to? This is the third hour of us expect you to get it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So sometimes framing our expectations is also really, it's just, and why am I frustrated or mad or whatever I'm feeling.
Mhm.
So that perspective shift can be very helpful. What are you